Good evening, Hobby World. Thanks for joining us live tonight for episode 81 of Personal Rips and Hobby Chat. I'm Herman, aka 3B Collections. We're here every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern to talk about our hobby and yours. We'll be sharing trading card database trades, mail days, projects, and recent pickups. And tonight, the 72 top set. If you're not already subscribed, please do so and hit the like button. Joining me tonight, I have Mark Hoyle, John Keating, and Uncle Rich Klein. How you guys doing?
Great. Doing well.
Glad y'all.
Shana Tova to our fellow people who are Jewish, which is why you're seeing me in a tie as I went to services today. And for those who have never seen me in a tie before, just hope that I don't destroy your screens while we're at it.
Setting the standards high tonight. Mark, you doing all right?
Way underdressed.
You and me both. We're the two with the t-shirts. I even got a hat on, so
we're all wearing blue though.
It's true.
You got the memo.
Yeah, I got the memo.
Different shades, but yes, we're all wearing blue, which is what you're supposed to wear on TV shows. So go us.
Right. And John's joining us remotely from I'm assuming a motel room.
It's a hotel. Motels
hotel,
open out.
Hotel,
Yeah, I can't have a door opening out to the outside world.
Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. Are we creating rap in the 21st century?
Like I said, we're gonna talk the 72 tops baseball set tonight. A few things about it. So that's it's 787 cards in the set. Rich, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It was released in 7 series, right?
It is 6 series.
Six. Okay.
6.
Started winter of 71?
It starts here. I would say I didn't buy any packs of 72 until the 5th series. But in those days, we were beginning in February and March.
I think it came out
probably February or March of 72.
Okay.
I'm thinking March.
So, okay, all right. I know used to, I remember I don't remember if 87 did or not, 88 did. They would release around November, December of the previous year.
Seems like it would kill their football if they did that, right?
Seems I opened baseball packs usually around New Year's Eve was when the first baseball was released. By about 2003, 2004, they could be released as early as November 1st.
Wow.
Which on a pricing level, on a price guide level, was really throwing us off because you'd have rookie cards of people, or you might have a rookie card of person and then have to remove the rookie card label because then there'd be a 2003 card issued later that was never issued before in 2003. You'd have to strip off the 2004 rookie. Plus, it was absolutely mashugana trying to just do data gathering and figuring out between what was 2003 and 2004. But it was the same. It was just less sets in those days. But 72 tops. I mean, there's some Fleer sticker, team sticker sets, and there's some other minor things, but really 70, and there's some Topps test issues.
Which I have some out ready to show later.
Okay.
Cool. Real quick, let's see. We've got Bo's with us, Ed, Zach and Porter, Victor, Royals 417, Matt, Cooter, and Cardboard Hobbyist, fellow Braves fan. Thank y'all for joining. So this set has, if I counted correct, it has 51 Hall of Famers. Is that
sounds right?
90. Yeah, but it's you keep in mind that there's multiple cards for those Hall of Famers.
Well, yeah. I know you have the batting leaders and
in action managers, all
in
that
actions
jazz.
and all that. I was just counting individual players. So
Tony La Russa card is a player too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
His last player card, Tony La Russa has a 64 tops rookie card, a 68 tops high number card, and then that 72 tops in the fourth series. There's no other Tony La Russa cards from his major league playing days. He's got one like every 4 years. It's just the most bizarre situation.
You know what team he played for in 72 tops?
Is it an Oakland A? I'm just going from memory.
No, it's a question specifically directed to Herman.
Braves.
There you go. Beautiful black hat with I think it's airbrushed on, right? White logo. Yeah. Last active card for Theodore Samuel Williams as well.
I almost pulled that one out just for that reason, but I didn't.
And also the last active card for a person we discussed on Dr. Becca's podcast this morning, Maurice Morning Wills.
Wasn't it Clemente's last card too?
No, it was his last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
Boyd Wilhelm, was it his last card?
It was, and he was on the 52 tops and 72 tops. How crazy is that, right? Leo DeRocher, who played with Babe Ruth, was a teammate of Babe Ruth in the 20s. His card's in there.
And interestingly, Hoyt Wilhelm is in the last series in both 52 and 72.
Interesting. Yeah, he's way up there in 72, that's for sure.
777 is his card number. And the funny thing is, I never could sell that card. And then all of a sudden, I could never keep it in stock. It was just one of the weirdest things. I would beg people to buy that card from me. I said, he's a Hall of Fame high number. And I mean, these were cheaper in the 80s, and they never bought them. And then all of a sudden, I had like a run, and like I had 15 of them, and they were all gone in like a month. It's the weirdest, one of the weirder things. It's not like he did anything to get better or even get into the Hall of Fame. It's just like it went from 0 to 60.
Now, you see what Cooter said? Willie Mays' last player era card pictures as a Giant. It's really.
I pulled that one out just because of that reason.
Yeah, and it's like this is the last big reach into the 50s with Mays and Brooks Robinson, Frank Robinson, all those guys. It's just incredible to span into the 70s for those early to mid to late 50s greats. There's a lot of them in this set, a lot of them.
Speaking of Frank Robinson, he is in one of the nice subsets we were talking. He's in the 7-card traded subset in the high number series.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of Hall of Famers in there.
Lefty, there's the second best lefty.
Steve Carlson.
But there's also Joe Morgan in there, a Frank Robinson in there.
A Jose Cardinal.
Denny McClain.
I think Rick Wise.
Hey, why do you think that they didn't put themselves team names on there? Mark, if you can hold that back up. We're all familiar with the 72, but why do you think they didn't put team names across the top there? The new team or the old team or whatever. It seems an interesting omission.
So they just airbrushed the new team.
No, there's spring training photos.
That Alton card clearly shows his Phillies cap.
Yeah, and Frank Robinson is in a Dodgers uniform. These are spring training photos on there. Joe Morgan, same thing. Yeah, it's
How about they thought that the insignia was sufficient?
Yeah, I guess so. New uniforms, right?
Well, like you was talking about airbrushing. I mean, even the Nolan Ryan. I mean, he was obviously wearing his Mets uniform, and they airbrushed the Angels on it. So
yeah. That's a highest valued card, I think, in there, right? Probably.
It is. It is now.
Yeah.
I think when I actually started the set, I think the Carlton Fisk was.
It's I think it's Ben Ogilvy. You mean? Ben Ogilvy, I think.
I started building this set in 72. Packs were 10 cents a piece. And I didn't know they were coming out in series. Did you know that already, Rich? That there was different series?
Yes, I knew that already because, as I said, I only bought 5th series packs. So I knew when I'm seeing cards between 526 and 656, because I had been buying cards beginning in 68. So I didn't know the whole details, but I understood you weren't getting all the cards at once from a set.
Because my buddies and I, we had no clue. So there was one store in town that sold cards. We bought the hell out of them. And up to the 4th series, we had everything. and we didn't know any different. One buddy of ours went out of town and bought a pack someplace, and it was the 5th series. And they looked completely different. Even the cards looked different. So what store did he go to? I made my father drive me there. I picked up 5 packs for the 5th series, and then he wouldn't drive me back again. And then I went back, I guess, for the 6th series and grabbed maybe 3 or 4. So when I went back to finish this about 10 years ago, I had up to 4th series done, and I had 40, maybe 90 cards of the last 2 series. So it wasn't that painful to finish it. But
what's interesting,
lucky you,
with the 5th series is the photos are sharper.
They
look so different. Series, the photos become really sharp. Where
different printer, maybe.
Not.
Yeah. Now, Rich, haven't I heard? I think I heard you mention that, like I know the 6th series wasn't it released like only like in limited areas? It wasn't as widespread.
The 6th series is released all over the place, but by then, like a lot of stores weren't selling the cards, so they don't order the 6th series because maybe they still have the 3rd, 4th, or 5th series.
Right.
In addition, you're in the middle of summer. Kids are at summer camp. Kids are being outside playing. They're not sitting inside playing with baseball cards. Maybe in Texas they are because it's so darn hot down here. But for the most part, the kids that were buying those packs, they're not inside in the middle of summer. They're outside playing games, or they're at camp, or they're doing other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus, are they necessarily short printed versus the first couple of series, or?
There is no doubt there are a lot less 6th series cards than 1st series cards. There are a ton of the early series cards available.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You go to a show and there's a box of 72s. What do you find?
Yeah.
They get, and the dealers get what they want, right? They get what they ask, as Herman can tell you, and I can tell you in recent times.
Yeah.
Herman, you bought a bunch of 72 highs from me. John, you bought some 72 highs from me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I gave them both of you very good prices. So we won't discuss that. You both got really good prices. But I bet you those cards were among the last both of you needed for the set.
It was real close for me, yeah.
I finished at the National. I finished 4 sets at the National, but I don't, eBay is easy to buy cards from, obviously, right? Or, and no offense, Rich, but ComC or Trading Card Database or whatever. I just feel like these cards I need to get in person, stuff like that. It's like, I could have been done a long time ago, but there's something about getting those cards in person makes it all the more valuable to me. The hunt.
When I started mine, I actually got I bought a starter set off of eBay. Bought a lot of them off of eBay, and then as it got closer to the end, like you said, John, I started going back to shows and started picking them up from individuals, and like you said, it was a lot more enjoyable there because each one had a story.
Yep.
It wasn't that I click PayPal, get it in the mail. It's I sat there and talked to the dealer about the set, and when it come down to the end of it, it actually got to the point where when I'd walk up to his table at the next show, he's like, "Hey, I got some new 72s. You want to look at them?" And he got to know me through me continuously coming back to him looking for the 72s, and I got to know him because he had all the 72s. So
Rich has passed on the trash pickup for the
there was one
for the
coffee
record.
can, there was one coffee cup in there, and I figured save the ecology and save that and let her.
I love
do it
that,
tomorrow
man.
night.
John, what was the last card you needed when you put the set together?
Boy, I should look at that list. It was like 5 of them, and I did it at the National. It was like 5 or 6, and I remember the 1970 was a Ron Santo. So I did this. I finished the 69 to 70 to 72 and the team cards from 79 at the same time. So it wasn't really one of those things where, there was a series of, it's like
all 4 of your kids get married on the same day. You know what I mean? You can't remember them specifically, but you remember them all collectively. So
Bobby Mercer in action was the last one.
there you go.
I think he's right there, right?
Herman, you have yours in binders, Herman?
And that it's one of the pieces to the puzzle too. So,
That's awesome. That's Seaver? Yeah, Seaver. So Herman, find Thurman Munson in there if you've done it correctly, right? This is my favorite part of the 72 set.
It's in the 440s, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
if you're looking, Herman.
Now the question is, did Herman put them in his binder? Like when I put these cards in my binder, I put the variations behind the other variations. I didn't give them their own slot, the pages. But this is one of the, we've seen this on Twitter. I've showed it on Twitter before. I know Mark's seen it, but
You want
that page is speaking of Maury Wills, right?
you want his regular card, not the inaction.
Just pull that whole page out and show everybody that page.
Yeah, my Johnny Bench is off center.
So read off those names that's on there.
You got Johnny Bench, and you got Johnny Bench in action, Reggie Jackson in action, Maury Wills in action, Billy Williams in action, and Thurman Munson.
It's the greatest consecutive 9-page thing in history, in my opinion. I just love that page. It's amazing, right? That happened, especially with, recently with Maury Wills, but just incredible.
So I binder my set by team. So,
okay. I got you. I was just flipping through, Mark, and I was like, holy crap, look at that.
But I did put these together just to show them off.
That's awesome. I love that, man.
The poster. And there's also a Rod Carew poster.
I pulled them out just to put the puzzles together. There's a Tory.
That's great, man. That's worth doing all over, getting more cards just to do that.
Well, I did it with the Yaz. I bought a separate.
Tony
I'm sorry,
Oliva.
Tony Oliva. I called him
Yeah.
Rod Carew. My
And
apologies.
Yaz, right?
And I bought doubles just to do the Yaz one for my Red Sox.
I got to do that. That's my next
Unfortunately,
thing, Mark.
one of them's Rose, but
That's all right. Face it the other way, like hang it on the wall, face it the other way, right?
Yeah.
Yaz.
I do have one of the posters on the wall. I'd have to flip, but I can do that later.
So I have like a love-hate relationship with this set. Obviously, it's more love than hate, but it's such a massive set. It's so bloated. I've always considered it bloated. It's because it's got everything in it, right, Rich? Like every bell and whistle.
It was the biggest set by 35 cards at the time. It would not be surpassed until 1982.
Yeah. But it's got your normal team leader. It's got your normal team cards, league leaders. It's got the inaction. It's got the awards, right? It's got the boyhood stuff. It just goes on and on.
It has
and
what,
on,
like
man.
six different subsets.
They're
More
stretching
than- I'm gonna
minor
say
league
more than
player
that.
of the year.
Now, since you brought that up, John, and Mark showing it, Cooter had a question about that. Was a 72 the only set that they had pictured the awards, or did they do it before that anytime?
Well, the Heritage has it, right?
I don't remember any top set having them.
Yeah.
Instinctively, I want to say the Stanley Cup had been featured in the 50s or 60s cards. But I'm gonna check right now, at least do something. But but I don't think the Major League awards had ever been shown as the awards.
Whoever heard of the Babe Ruth Award?
I was going to say the same thing, right? We all know about the Roberto Clemente Award and all that, but yeah, it's interesting, man.
Yeah.
I know they did that with the Heritage. The Heritage, they did a lot of last year, was it? I guess, yeah, they did a lot of.
Yeah.
They had that in there and a couple other things.
So, John, what did you when you sorry? I know you're completed your set. Did you did all the variations as well?
I've had the Cubs variations for before I completed the set. I had the Cubs variations done.
I can show one. I just didn't pull them all out, but I can show one. Which way am I going?
Who's that on top?
They're both the same guy, Cleo James.
Cleo James, okay. Because it looks like, oh, there you go. Yeah, I got you.
You can see it's in the Cubs, either the yellow or the green.
Green, yeah, the green is the big thing there. Yeah.
How many
Chase
was this?
Stadium.
6 guys, Rich, or 5? Something like that.
There's
It wasn't the whole team, just a handful.
like 5.
5 or 6.
5 of them were Cubs.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
there's
all Cubs for some reason, and the only one that's really hard is Hickman. And it's hard to tell the Hickmans apart, but the 4 low number Cubs are pretty easy to tell apart. It's like Bill Bonham and Glenn Beckert and the
Juan
one Mark
Pizarro.
Flores.
Yeah, Juan Pizarro, Joe Negro is has a little variation, but it's not that green one.
Now, John, you was talking about how you did your variations. Now, I think we do ours the same way.
Back to back, front back. Yeah, perfect. Love it. Yeah, Bill Bonham. That's like
I almost just did a complete another page in the back for it, but
well, what I do is when some of these great people in the hobby community, some that are listening, if I get another, they'll send me 70s cards, and I'll put them in the back too. Like I'll put those. A lot of times they're in better condition than mine anyway. So if they are, I'll put those in and take my old one out. But if they're equal or less than condition, I put them in the back as well. My binders.
I got you.
So Heritage
And
did
good-
do a pretty good job matching the wrapper. This is the wrapper you sent me, Herman,
Right.
and this is the original.
It's amazing.
So
And
they
the
did
good thing is with 72, the variations, they're not that difficult.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to go absolutely crazy. The Hickman can be a little tough to figure out, but you're not going to go crazy getting all the variations. And Cooter mentioned, I think, the checklist variation. Even that's, and I think there's maybe the 6 series checklist, the final series checklist has a variation where the copyright notation is on the card.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may cost you a couple dollars per card if you want them unchecked, but you'll find it.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's going to set you back hundreds of dollars, like doing a 67 white letter mantle or 69 white letter mantle would set you back, or
Pancho Herrera.
or the 66. The 66 no trades, they're not hundreds of dollars, but they're a decent amount of money.
You have card 19 available, Herman?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Billy Cowan.
I do have it out.
Dude,
Now-
there you go. Look at that. Is that a beautiful card or what?
That
Halo.
was one of the things. It was one of the things I was going to ask each of you was if you had to, if it was one card in the set, you know, what would be your favorite card?
I did pull it up. John will like it.
Yeah, in action, the man.
And it's an O-Pee-Chee, though.
Is it an O-Pee-Chee? What was on his regular in action card? Was it an advertisement? Was it a? Yeah. Because that's another thing.
Is that the Canadian one? Mark, that looks like the OPG version.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Here's the other one. This is the other Yaz. And this is an O-Pee-Chee as well.
Since we're talking about OPG, does Mark have the Hodges card available to show us?
Yeah, that's an awesome.
I didn't pull it out, no.
His last card, right? Because he died in spring training that year.
Right.
Yeah.
And the OPG card mentions his passing.
Yeah. It's got a stamp on it or whatever. Or does it say it on the front or the back, Rich?
It's on the front.
Okay.
This is another good one here. This is for Zach. He's listening.
Carlton Fisk.
And again, it's the O-Pee-Chee version.
Coop. Now the double, there's some with 2 rookies on them, and they have their year by year stats on them, but the 3 buys just have their career totals on them, minor league career totals.
Yeah. But the reason I asked that question when I brought it up was because when I had came up with that as far as the favorite card out of the set, that Billy Cowan to me has always stood out of the set just because of the way they framed that picture. It's like,
It's
was
amazing.
that that had to be intentional.
You think so, right? Kudos to the photographer or whomever, made that happen.
Yeah,
That's-
he's playing for the Angels, and he's right up under the Anaheim Angels sign with the halo.
Perfect.
Look
I
at
pulled it
Mark.
to you, John, because you
That's
called
it, man.
your show this morning. So
Yep. I think that's such a beautiful card. Roberto Clemente just tossing a ball in the air, and he's got 2 great cards that year, right? The in action one, right? Look at that.
there we go.
And he's got a 3rd great card too that year,
Yeah. It's
World Series.
the World Series card.
Yeah.
Here's a card that always cracked me up as a kid.
Who was that?
Tom Haller in action.
Oh,
Card like
Barton,
number 40 or 39 or something like that. Or is that Bob Barden?
It's 40. Bob
That's
Barton.
40. Okay.
What is he doing? You know, what kind of action is this?
He looks like he's in the bullpen.
They had some interesting people. The first series has a Billy Martin in action card.
Yeah.
It is like the only time you'll ever see a manager in action.
Well, here's speaking of the Billy Martin card. Here we go. He's giving us
And
all the.
take
Giving
a
his finger.
good look
Yeah.
at where his finger is on the bat.
Yep.
Can you see it?
That's it's Billy Ball right there. Typical.
Including the finger.
Yeah.
That's what makes that card so cool. It took a long time for people to catch it.
Yeah.
But he's giving the top photographer and everybody the finger on that card. And that's been going on a long time. There is an old Judge, old Haas Radburn card where he's giving the finger in the 1880s.
That's interesting, huh?
Nothing. Everything old is new again,
Yeah,
even in
no kidding.
1972.
Mark, do you have the Bob Oliver card?
I do. I'd have to dig through. I don't.
Here, I got it right here. He's talking about of course, a lot of these pictures, a lot of them were posed for, but this Bob Oliver, the way he is,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
that's the unnatural stance.
In the middle of the field,
In
right?
the middle of the
It's
field,
not like he's on first base.
It's like he's trying to do a split.
And he's got his starter jacket on, right?
Yeah.
Love it, man.
So I know they would distribute. We had 10-cent packs. There was 25-cent packs.
Oh, look at that.
Rich, did they have rack packs? Do you know?
They did.
Yes, they did.
54 cards in the rack pack, 39 cents.
Because this is the only one I had left. I used to have a few of these, but 25 cents.
And those were you grabbed those as a kid, Mark?
Yes.
Oh, you must be from Mars, man. Like, how did you think to keep that crap?
Hey, I have the tattoo set from 71 I opened as a kid and didn't even use it. I'm all in a binder still.
Oh man,
Mark's been a collector his whole life.
it's amazing. Yeah, but that's some foresight right there, man. We weren't not all of us thought we were going to have these the rest of our lives, right?
Right.
So
Everybody who ever saved an unopened pack, sometimes it was by accident, and sometimes they just hoarded them somewhere, and you don't know.
Wish I were that smart.
So my mother worked at one of the only store in town that sold cards, and they used to line the boxes when she got her deliveries with these.
It's amazing.
Those are high numbers. That's really cool.
That's a high number, sheet.
And they just cut them. They just cut. They got half
They
of
would
the
just
card.
cut them, and that would line the bottom of the box. Here's
That's
another one.
funny, man. Just that's funny.
I see Hall of Famer Walt Alston.
Yep.
I see Danny Cater, who happens to be a friend of mine's father-in-law.
Don
Bill
Clendenin.
Sudeikis, Tony Clollinger,
So those are basically
William
just uncut
Simpson.
sheets, right? I mean, we're not.
Luis Alvarado, Dick McAuliffe, Don Clendenin, Cesar Geronimo.
It's nuts, man. Look at that.
Almost looks like Gail Hopkins on the top.
It is. Yep. This one had a few good ones. I don't know. There's a little glare here, but
Is that Diego Segui?
That is
Yes.
Diego Cedi. We got Ray Newman, who with a 2-1 record, if I remember the year before. Joel
Durker?
Borland,
Is that
Bobby
Durker?
Line,
George
Kurt
Culver.
Modden, Jerry Royce, a 4-decade pitcher. Bobby
there's
Knopf.
a Red Sox rookie card right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oops. There we go.
Sucks.
Card 724, if I remember, is that 3-player rookie card.
That's a tough one.
Well, for all those cards, and also there was a 741, which had like a Met and a Philly on it, like John Milner and Tommy Hudden. And those cards you couldn't keep in stock in the late 70s and early 80s. Because not only was it a higher number that people were trying to finish their set, but in those days you could be a team completist too. So all the Mets collectors and all the Phillies collectors or all the Yankee collectors, I think Rick Miller of the Red Sox is on that card too, 741.
He
And
is.
all the so in the Megalopolis, they're chasing that card for several different reasons.
Yeah, Ben
And
Ogilvy.
then at the same time, the Ron
Ogilvy.
Say first rookie card,
First rookie.
that
Good.
Ogilvy rookie
Real
card
one, yeah.
got popular.
I had
Yeah.
3 Red Sox I had to chase. So
They got that was the third year Don Baylor, third year in a row Don Baylor showed up on a rookie card. which is 71 is very difficult to find, or one of the higher priced ones to find. 71 Baylor.
So, Martin, you said that you opened a lot of these as a kid. How many were in a pack then? Was it 14?
We got 10 cards for a dime.
10. Okay, so a penny a card.
Yep. And I believe the 25 one, there might have been 30 in here. I'm not sure.
And I think it's 39 cards in the rack pack.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I know.
No, the rack pack had 54.
54, okay.
And 30 in the cellos. Didn't they have cellos 30?
Yeah, he showed you a cello.
Yeah, okay. Right.
You got 668 handy, Herman?
I got the whole book right here.
It's a team card. You know what that is, Rich?
The Texas Rangers first-year team card, a very popular card down here in Texas.
But there's a caveat there.
I bet you they're all wearing Washington Senators.
Taken at RFK Stadium, they're all Washington Senators right there.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, Teddy's in there somewhere, right?
I think so. Yep.
Yeah. So that's your Washington, the 1971 Washington Senators, and no Rangers uniforms in that whole set.
What's interesting is that card, because we were talking about spring training photos. That one they could have gotten into a Rangers uniform.
Yeah, it was late series, right?
And what else is interesting is Ted Williams. If I remember the Williams card correctly, he's wearing like a jacket without a team affiliation on it.
I did pull this team card out.
Socks.
But this is a cloth issue.
Oh my gosh, where'd that come from?
And there's two of them. There's 33 cards in the set. There's an Aparicio and a
And if I remember, every card in the cloth set is from the parallel to a third series card. If I remember, they're all when I say third series cards, that they're all in the third series base set, and those cloths are just 33 cards from that set.
Yeah, they're blank back. The word is they came in a sheet of maybe 99 or 33, and they came as a full sheet. Somebody walked them out the back door, and these are all hand cut.
Are they stickers or no?
Yeah, they are. They are. Yeah,
they're cloth.
They're cloth.
Yeah.
They're like the 77 cloths.
Yeah, 77. Yeah.
In fact, that was like the second time they did a cloth set. There's a 19, if I remember correctly, and there's a 1970 cloth test set that's even tougher.
Those are unbelievably tough.
I think Mark lives in one of those Carvana towers, and then when he calls up a card, it just comes up on a conveyor belt.
And the amazing thing is, Mark has raised kids.
Yeah,
so he had kids in the house too. It wasn't just like he had the house; he had kids in the house.
These things got hit. They were.
Don't go in Dad's special room, ever.
Yeah. I collected with my two boys for a while.
Yeah.
So got some of the cards. I've sent them out. Some of the extras they had. So
I love that. Carl.
He sent the kids in the
Reginald.
garage. That was pretty smart.
Yeah.
Let the kids sleep in the garage. Dad keeps his good stuff in the house.
Yeah, right. That buys him beer and he drinks the whiskey.
some of these came out in the Heritage set.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's Boomer.
there's Boomer.
What else do I got here? There's Louis.
Are those the 72 Venezuelan stickers?
They're the Venezuelan stamps.
Stamps. Okay.
The stickers, I have a couple. They're buried in a box.
Was
The only
Louis a
one
Red
I'm
Sox back then or an Indian? Louis was a Red Sox? Because they didn't have red hats back then, the Sox, did they? They were still wearing the black hats.
But it's I'll have to get it
I
up here.
think the Venezuelan stamps are actually issued 72, 73. So the Red Sox you have in 72, 73, if he's showing you like Tiant could be a Red Sox, even though he's in Twins in the set.
Oh, is he a twin?
This is another one here. This is a Tiant. This is a Venezuelan 72.
That's awesome.
Those are the backs of the stamp, the stickers, and it makes a puzzle of Tiant. That's 4 cards.
El Tiante.
Yeah, so that take 4 cards to do it. I think those are the stickers, Rich. I
No,
don't even know who's on the other side.
I know. Was it Donners? Donners did the backs one time, didn't they? the puzzle backs, or they just no, they just
They
did
just
the
did puzzles. They had to stop. They couldn't do that crappy gum that they used to sell anymore, so they switched to puzzle
The
pieces.
only year Fleer and Donruss were able to put gum into their mainstream or flagship product was 81. Topps won a partial victory after 81,
right.
where nobody else could put gum in the packs, which is why Fleer went to puzzles and Fleer went to like those stickers and Donruss went to puzzles.
Now was 72 the first year they put the puzzle back on the backs of the
Right,
card?
but that's not the first time there's puzzle backs. 68 All Stars are puzzle backs.
70.
79
That's what I was
All Stars are puzzle backs.
The
So that's
68
not-
69 both have a Yaz puzzle in it.
Yeah.
And Cepeda's on 68, maybe?
68's black and white, right?
Right, and here's the thing with the 68. If I remember, it's either Yaz or Cepeda.
It's
The
both.
front card is Cepeda on the All Star card, but the back card's also the face shot of Cepeda during the.
Double.
It's a
Double
double. It's one. Whether I think it's him and not Yaz, but it's one of the most hilarious things. Like it's a double Cepeda card.
It's like wearing a T-shirt with your own face on it, right?
Yeah. Yaz was in 3 puzzles, as far as I know.
Jenny had asked the same thing I just asked earlier. Who's everybody's favorite card? Mine was the Billy Cowan.
You got to watch my latest episode, Jenny. You'll find out what mine is.
There we go.
I got it, Mark.
John will probably kill me, but I never had a favorite card from 72. But it's a different type of a favorite card. Every time I buy a collection or every time I bought a lot of 72s, there was one card guaranteed to show up. They must have quadruple printed it, even though it's not on the sheet. 72 Harmon Killebrew in action.
Okay.
I swear I get that. If I buy a lot of 172s, there'll be 2 in there. And I mean, that card just
Funny.
is like my bet noir. It just shows up and shows up and shows up.
I've got my guy is the 1980 Vic Davaleo. For some reason, I can't shake that guy. Every time there's an 80, there's one of those with him.
When we were opening packs as a kid, I must have pulled a Felipe Alou out of every other 72 packs. I had about 20 of them.
The Pirate? Is he still?
Yankees.
Oh, he's the Yankees then. Okay.
Yankees.
Well, at least you had a guy from a good team. Well, they weren't that good in 72, but at least you had a guy from a good team.
Yeah, listen to Rich.
Now, Mark, you said you started in 72 and you finished. Well, I know you said you
Finished
had
it
the first 4 series, but you finished when?
about 10 years ago.
10 years ago. So 40 years.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, man. This is, and you know what's, it's a, you know, we talked about how big it is and how many different pieces there are to it, but it's kind of the end of an era. Like it's the end of a really tough run of top sets with high numbers to get, right? Because 73 wasn't anything like 72, but if you keep going further back, like it's they're all killers, I think.
Yeah.
John,
73.
when did you start yours?
Me?
Well, 73, there are higher series cards, but there's also parts of the country, Florida for sure, I believe Ohio and a few other places. They get all 5 series as a test at the same time.
They were
Which
pretty.
is where the blue team checklists come from in 73. Because I remember many years ago, I'm on a show trip in Florida at Orlando Sports Cards, which is still there, and it's
Great
30
place.
years later.
On
And I'm
OBT.
looking,
Yep.
he's got 73 blue team checklists, and I say, these are good cards. And, you know, okay, I'm going to buy them at like $1 a piece because I knew they were good cards.
I got a couple of my, sorry, Mark. I got at that sports card shop, I got cards as recently as this year from there. And the first time I bought from there was in the late 90s. So it's interesting that they've helped me with that set for 20 something years.
I stopped in there in February when I was in Florida.
I'll be there
up
next
here,
week.
When I heard on blogs and people talking about the blue checklist that they were tough to get, they were plentiful up here. I had a ton of them. We got them all. They were everywhere. So I guess we were one of the lucky ones.
So
What's
when did you
up?
say you started, John?
Who me? I probably started in, my first cards that I got myself were probably 74 or 75 because I vividly recall my mom throwing away my brother's cards. I could still picture the box with the 73 Willie Mays on the top, sitting on the porch, and never saw it again. I guess it was trash night. So I started probably in the late 70s, I would imagine.
Okay. So I was a late bloomer at 2003.
Yeah, it's the thing, man. I'm telling you, there are harder sets to complete. Like I guess the 67, like around that era. But man, this 72 is my hardest set so far.
67 was the toughest one I did.
Yeah.
When you're in Boston, Mark, so you've got to deal with getting the 67 Red Sox team card.
Yep. Especially Yaz. Yaz is hard to find.
Which is not an easy high number card. It's only the Impossible Dream team too. So I mean, it's a magic year for Boston players.
Look at that beautiful picture behind him too, Carl Reginald Smith.
Yeah, and I did a lot like Mark did. I say not like Mark did, but I started, like I said, in 2003, worked on it for a couple of years, and then it kind of got put on the back burner and sat in the corner of the bedroom for 4 or 5 years, and then I pull it back out and pick up a few more, and then it go back to the closet and pull it back out. So it wasn't until like the last 2 or 3 years that I really just continuously worked on it. So
I saw your Willie Montanez get picked up in Dallas, Texas, Herman, for that set.
Card number 690, Montanez, and he's coming off a 30 homer year in 71. And we thought he was going to be great. He never hit, and I don't think he ever hit more than 20 homers in a season again.
Got traded, I think. Who did he get traded for? Was it Gary Maddox? He got traded
a bunch. Yeah, I think he goes in the Gary Maddox trade.
He had the best bat flip walking up to the
Sure
plate.
Did, man. I remember.
We tried to do that in Little League, man.
Did he just do one flip at a time, or did he do like a double flip? I'm trying to remember if he went handle to handle or was just handle the barrel.
He held the barrel and he hit the handle on the ground, and then it bounced twice. And he hit the barrel.
Yeah, I would hit myself in the nose with that.
A couple times he did it behind his back. I mean, he flipped the ball between his legs behind his back. He was a showman. You
got to pick a random card, Herman. A random regular common card.
Just pick a number.
113. Pick a. What do you got? You got a card.
Pull something up.
We're testing. We're testing. I've already done this because Rich knows the set by heart.
Well, I just want to.
It's as I used to be, but I actually used to, because of all the years I proofed the baseball book, the baseball almanac, and even the House of Collectibles baseball book.
You want the name or the number?
No, just flash a card. I want to. Some may not know this. Most probably do, but it's the first year there wasn't a position printed on.
John Mayberry. He's an early series card. He's either second or third series.
No position, though. There was no position on the front of those cards in 72, which is the first time that happened.
And he's just traded to the Royals. If you notice, he was an Astro until then.
Was he? He started out an Astro, huh?
He started an Astro. He was one of the many great players at the time the Astros were trading away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Mayberry was great. First baseman for the Royals.
See, he bounced back and forth between the Astros and Oklahoma City for.
There's Cooter. Yeah, he's visiting Cooter every summer.
6 years.
That's weird,
Rich,
though.
I have a couple of these, Rich. These are actually
Topps Candy Lid, the really much tougher year than 73. Those are almost impossible.
I don't have a 72, but I just wanted to show it. The 72s look just like this, but they don't have the border on it. It's just it's a full bleed one. And then I think there was only what do I got? There's Fisk and there's Boomer.
No trademarks or no license, huh?
No. And the 72s looked just like this, but they didn't have like that little border that goes around it. So I've never even seen a 72 in person. So
there's so much to collect, man. Never ends.
Yeah.
What
What are you putting that up on eBay for, Herman?
What?
That 72 set. What's your
Well,
starting bid?
What would I put it up for?
Yeah.
No, it's on the shelf. That's where it's going to stay. We lost
Did you
something.
tell us your? Yeah, we lost Rich. Did you tell us your favorite card?
Yeah, that's what brought it up earlier was when Mark flashed that Billy Cowan.
Oh, the Billy Cowan. Yeah, I got you.
It was like I said, it was just the way the picture was either intensely set up or it turned out. But yeah, that's it right there.
That's what's awesome is when it doesn't have to be Willie Mays or whomever. It's freaking Billy Cowan, right? That's what you're.
The funny thing is, one year, year before last, I actually set up a Christmas tree. I was in the other room then. It was a little smaller room, and I had a little white, like a 2-foot Christmas tree, and I decorated it with 72 Topps cards. That was the angel.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
I've got a picture with it. I've got a picture of it somewhere, but that was the angel on the top of the tree.
That's awesome.
It's on Twitter somewhere. I know I posted a picture of it. I just have to find it.
Mark, you want to open up that one of those packs and take a bite of gum for us?
No 50-year-old gum for Mark.
No gum here.
Mark, I know you have the 72 Topps wrapper. Do you have the OPG wrapper?
I don't. No.
Yeah, I've kind of got a saved search on eBay. I've been looking for one. A lot of the OPGs are popping up, but not the Topps. Usually, if the Topps pops up, it's already graded in a PSA slab, and
do they look the same?
The OPG and the Topps.
Yeah.
They just one just has OPG on it.
Yeah.
Are you saying you're beginning your OPG? Complete this OPG set, Herman? Is that your next target?
No, shipping from Canada is just too much.
But
I'm already running into that with some of the Dale Murphy OPGs. It seemed like all of them are still in Canada, and it costs like $12 to get 2 of them here.
I found in Texas that had a bunch of them.
Really?
OPGs?
I did the whole Red Sox run, 64 to 95.
Did they do the same? Release them in series there because it's smaller. It's a smaller set. They did, Rich.
Yeah, until 73, they're released in series. 73 is actually released all at the same time, which is also why you have a lot more 73 OPG blue team checklists comparatively than Topps OPG, than Topps team checklists in 73. And high numbers really don't exist in 73 OPG. They are printed to the same quantity as all the other cards. But because of the American high numbers, you can actually get a premium, a slight premium on OPG 5th series, even though the print's the same.
Did they have traded cards?
No, there are no 74 or 76 OPG traded cards.
Or 72, though. Did they do that?
They only did the first 4 series, so there's no 72. Mark's is saved from doing... I always liked them, but he saved from doing the 2 Reggie Smith cards in 72, and
Reggie's awesome.
And that rookie card and those rookie cards with like Mike with 724 and 741 with Rick Miller, and
OPG did do the whole set in 71, though, I believe.
Yes, they did, and those last 2 series in 71 are really difficult
because the 71 OPG Red Sox were really tough.
Yeah, and actually, once you get past the first 3 series, but those last 2 are almost impossible. And series 4 is not exactly a piece of cake to get either.
I wonder if that's because hockey is so big there that we talk about dropping baseball cards for football cards in the fall. I wonder if that's why.
The hockey sets were bigger there.
For sure.
If they did 2 series in America, and I remember getting hockey cards in those days, they a lot of years did a 3rd series in Canada, so they don't produce the baseball cards till later. And hockey season begins earlier than basketball, so they're getting revved up to do hockey earlier. So yeah, so hockey does have an impact on how pre-73 all the cards are released in OPG in Canada. 73 on forward, they're all released at the same time.
Rich, I think Cooter's trying to say you and I say it differently than Mark says it. I say OPG, and I think you do as well. But
OPG?
Mark says it. Oh, Mark says it the way Dr. Jim says it. So
I think that's one of these things that's up for discussion. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I go OPG, but other people can do it OPG. So it's not a big deal. You know, in terms of the world, that's one of these first world problems.
Well, I mean, that's the hobby is a first world problem because none of this matters.
That's true too.
But where did that come from, OPG?
I've never thought about that.
Got some homework.
I mean, and some of these sets,
check out Wikipedia.
Not the baseball, but it's like Beatles 64. There's Tops, there's OPG, and there's British, which is like A and B, C. Where do they come up in Britain of doing A and B, C for like basically being the Tops version?
Yeah.
Rich, I wanted to show you these. They have nothing to do with 72, but they're on my desk because I got to put them away. Right.
Oh, cool. I love those cards. Are those like the 69s?
69 Flair hat blacks.
Those are tough.
And they stack right on top of each other, Mark?
There's 23 in the set because they didn't do an Expos one. They came one per pack with an easel that they went on. As a kid, I got the whole set. I threw all the easels out because I didn't care about those. And I had to go back and buy one just to put my Red Sox one on one.
Are they plastic?
I have an unopened pack right here.
Now, on the 72 OPGs, there's like 500-ish card, 520?
525.
So what did they leave out? They didn't do the traded set.
They don't. There's no 5th and 6th series. They stopped. It's series 1 to 4.
Oh, so if Mark had been collecting OPG, then he'd have been done when he was a kid.
Right. It was
right.
It
If
was
they had
hard.
OPG in Canada, in Boston, he would have been done.
It was hard when I went back and did it to figure out what the checklist was because sometimes they were different. They were shorter, or they added Expos cards in and took other guys out. So it was tough to figure out.
Do you guys have a lot of that up near where you are? You're not that far from Canada. I mean, it's not like it's just around the corner either, but do you have a lot of OPG there?
Yeah, you can find it. There's a lot of hockey up here.
I was going to say probably more hockey.
You can find hockey at every show. I remember as a kid, the first 71 OPG I got, I had no clue what I got. I bought it at a flea market, and the back completely different, as everybody knows probably. But my cousin together, and we got a bunch of those, and we were clueless. But it was all in French.
Now, aren't the peaches? Aren't they like half French, half English?
Yes.
Okay.
And the backs
And
are
if you
different.
look at the back, it's pretty obvious in 72. The back is much brighter than the Topps back.
It's kind of like the Tiffany's.
Yes.
The backs are different, except for the last series. They revert back to the regular Topps back, but it's just yellow. So
I like the 71 OPGs. I think they're awesome. The backs.
those are awesome. Yeah.
Herman, I got news for you. Everything you buy in Canada, you go into the store and buy milk. It's in English and French. It's a national law up there.
I mean, I bet Mark even has. Well, no, Mark doesn't do Fleer, but 90 Fleer for some reason they did a full Canadian set of that too. Like the only year they did a full Canadian set of Fleer was 1990. I mean, it's just like one of these. Okay.
And then they went to the yellow borders.
Yeah. Screw it up.
So, Rich, did you ever? You at one time you were the set builder, right?
I was setting up for a long time, yes, sir.
But you built sets though.
As you know, I was a collector dealer before I became a full-time dealer for a while in the late 80s. And, you know, when I became a full-time dealer, I was no longer a collector. I collected books just because I wanted to collect something, but not related to my business, and books were pretty easy to get cheap. Plus, then I could read them.
Yeah. So did you, well, you could read baseball cards too.
I read baseball. I mean, you'd be amazed how many baseball books were out in the 80s.
Yeah. But did you ever build the set yourself?
Oh, I built a 72 set. I was done by like 1979. I mean, that's the thing. I built all these sets. I was complete back to 53, and I had 25, 52 high numbers. But I made a decision the minute I became a dealer, my collection dispersed into my inventory, because you cannot be a collector and a full-time dealer unless you either have another job or you have a lot of money behind you. So you have one of your former co-hosts and I talked about that frequently.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about the conversation.
Yes, I was pretty strident about that with him, because that's the only piece of advice I ever gave him when he was trying to go full-time. You can't keep stuff for your collection if you're a dealer, but it doesn't mean you don't appreciate collecting it and remembering it yourself. You know, you were absolutely right when you said we all completed the 72 set. I completed it.
Yeah.
I don't have it anymore, but I completed it.
Yep. Well, let's we're getting close. We're coming up on an hour, so real quick, I'll give each of you a chance if you want to share how anybody can get in touch with you or anything you have going on. We'll start with you, John.
Everybody know where to find me.
Yeah,
I'm good, thanks.
I'm on Twitter at MarkHoyle4, and I might start doing some kind of podcast, doing a little 5-10 minute thing, just showing up a couple things at a time. It's in the works. It's in the works.
Can't wait.
Mark, you need to start showing off some of your stuff. There was one day, and this was always a holy grail item for me. 68 Yaz bread label. I had them as a kid. My mentor, Tom Reed, who loved bread labels and dealt in them until he died, he had never owned one. And I mean, and he had so much stuff, and I had never seen one pop up in the years. And one day on Twitter, I post, I'm still, as far as I know, they don't exist. And Mark shows me a page of like 5 of them. And it's like, thanks, Mark. But I mean, that's when I realized Mark's collection was on a different level than the rest of us.
He's amazing. Absolutely.
So,
amazing.
I mean, I would love him to talk about the 68 Yaz bread label, for example. That'd be a really cool item.
Yeah, there's a whole set. There's a bumper sticker and a placemat that go with it, and a membership card. You can join the guys.
Mark's got so much stuff. I mean, this can't be no 5 or 10 minute show. It's going to have to be at least a 20, 30 minute each episode to get it all in.
Well, I just want to pick one little segment of something, one set, and just do that, show it quick, and be done.
I guess.
So, that's what I'm planning. So,
it's
all right,
gonna, yeah. It's
a few more phone calls to John, and I'll have it all worked out.
Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on. I've enjoyed it. Everybody in the chat, I appreciate you joining in. And the conversation, we had a pretty active chat tonight. So I appreciate it. I'll
thanks for having me.
Bunch of mail stacking up. Yeah, y'all appreciate it. Y'all are welcome back anytime. Anytime you want to jump on and show something. That's I'm kind of open that way. I just want to share. I just want to share what I collect. I don't, I'm not looking to talk business. I'm not looking to talk.
Wasn't it nice we talked about cards for an hour and we really didn't touch on money?
That's a great point, man. That's a great point.
I mean, we tangentially talked about it, but not like.
Yeah, 10 cents and 25 cents. That was
right.
Yeah. I wish we were well into the 2 figures trying to pick up some of these cards, Herman and I, right?
Yeah.
Just commons,
Yeah. But well, like I said, thanks again, guys, and thanks for everyone that watched. Keep collecting what you love and enjoy what you collect. See you next week.